everyone. I'm Claire Davis and I'm back with Mental Health Chats, and today we've got Dylan Lewis with us. Hello Dylan, how are you going?
Yep. Yeah, good. Thanks, Claire. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. And as we all know, the series at the moment is about suicide stories. And the reason is because in the Northern Hemisphere, we're coming up to spring, and the suicide rates go up in spring. They are known over the years. That's what research has proven. So Dylan's got a different side of the story today, and I'll get him to explain what it is in a minute. But I'm very excited because Dylan's actually a lot younger than me, and he went to university where I went to university, was in the same college, and one of his mates reached out to me when he saw the Mental Health Chats and said, you might like to interview Dylan. So I'm really excited. Another 𝗖𝗵𝗆𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, so well done. And he's in a part of Australia that I haven't had somebody who I've interviewed yet. So Dylan, do you want to tell everyone where you are exactly?
Yeah, so I'm based in Katharine in the Northern Territory. I don't know, I suppose it's famous for the Katharine Gorge, which is one of the great landmarks of Australia, I suppose. It definitely gets mentioned a fair bit. And the Northern Territory is very sparse on population, but it's a massive place and everyone's got a big heart and helps each other out. So it's a very special part of Australia. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So if you are traveling to Australia, go to Katharine and look Dylan up. So Dylan, we will start on the suicide story talk. So would you like to tell everyone briefly your story?
Yeah. What actually brought me to the Northern Territory in around 2005 was I had been depressed for quite a while, but as a young fella, just out of uni, trying to find my feet in a workplace, I didn't understand that I had depression. I sort of was in denial about that. And when I tried to talk to people about that, friends mainly, the advice back then was have a few beers, you'll be right. You're a bit sad. There's a few things sort of, I suppose, now in hindsight that I definitely had anxiety for quite a while. And I got quite drunk after a game of footy and I crashed a car down there. I was in Grafton in New South Wales at the time. That one, I remember I woke up from the accident. I got quite badly concussed. I couldn't really remember the accident at all. I couldn't really remember the day leading up to it. I couldn't remember playing footy that day or anything. So that one, I couldn't really remember if I had attempted to take my life or not. But I raised a few alarm bells with the nurses because I had thought about that a lot, about crashing a car and ending it. It did seem like a way for me to get out of the strife I was in then. I saw a professional at that point and they said, no, you're just a bit sad, you'll be right. So after that, I pressed for a change of scenery. I thought a change would be good. So I got a job in the Northern Territory, and it also was the only place I could get a job without a car license because I lost that after the accident. So that brought me to the Northern Territory. Then I went on till about it was sort of 2012. I had an attempt, and I was very sober, so I remember everything that happened with that one. We had a very rough 12 months. There was a live export cattle ban in the Northern Territory, which sent my business broke at the time. That compounded with a breakup and also not dealing with anxiety and depression from over a 10-year period effectively, led me to I just hit rock bottom, yeah, I got home one day and decided that was going to be it. So yeah, and I was very lucky that my recent ex-girlfriend picked up that something wasn't right and sent a mutual friend around, and they knocked on the door just in the nick of time. And I'm not sure if it's too blunt, but I put the knife down and I answered the door, and that stopped it. So yeah.
Oh, Dylan. So
Yeah.
What a moving story. I'm actually feeling quite emotional inside, because you're very much like so many of my friends from university, so many of these lovely strapping blokes, and you know, so often it is really, really difficult to show your feelings, and to get to rock bottom is really, really hard. So
Yeah.
just run through with us, Dylan. That was 2012, and thank you for sharing that, because that was really, really brave. How have you managed to heal yourself over the years?
I suppose the biggest thing initially, straight after, I was very lucky that my friends got around me, and my parents. They flew up from New South Wales to be with me, and really helped me realise that I needed help. And by that stage, you want help. You just, I suppose, prior you don't think you know where to turn to, and I felt like I was being a burden on everyone. And it's when everyone gets around you, you realise that you're not. And so from there, we started a journey. Seeing psychiatrists and psychologists. There's a mental health team in Katharine, so I liaise a lot with them early on. But health services can be few and far between. Katharine is a pretty small town, really. You know, psychologists, we can change every 6 months, and then we can go a year or two without one at all. That's happened over the 14 years I've been here. That's happened quite a lot. So I had quite a few different people I saw over about probably a 5 or 6 year period. And I started to feel low again, and I knew I needed to step up my treatment more than anything. So I went to a mental health clinic in Sydney. I had to fly down there to do it, which was, I hate cities. It adds to my anxiety quite badly. I've had quite a few panic attacks in cities. So, yeah, going to the heart of Sydney wasn't a very easy thing to do, but we got there, and I spent 3 weeks in a hospital there, which really turned it around for me. Found it was the first time that I'd been told about a real holistic approach in dealing with my mental health, and how physical exercise and diet and sleeping and as well as keeping up regular sessions with the psychologist and regular meetings with my psychiatrist, how that all tangles together. I suppose that was the first time I really got that, the wholeness of it, and it's been all uphill. I don't know, it's been a lot easier since then, knowing that, and it really helped me recognise the signs when I'm slipping with my anxiety. And yeah, and I was diagnosed with a mood disorder, I suppose, out of that as well. Until then, it didn't have a label. No one could really tell me what was going on, if I was depressed or anxiety, and that led to a lot of trouble too with medications, because I went from bipolar medications. I was on a medication for schizophrenia for a little while. I think I tried about 14 different medications over that time, which can happen. There's no that was well explained to me at the start. They can't do a test and find out what you should be on. So there's a lot of trial and error there, but yeah.
So you're actually saying quite a lot in this, Dylan, and thank you for sharing this. And I think something that we all need to realize when we're in the workplace or with family or friends is to understand that it's the early intervention that's very important. So we don't get to the stage that Dylan got to. But Dylan has pointed out that spotting the signs is so important, understanding when we're feeling low and doing something about it. So Dylan's got professional help, which is great. So for some people, may have got to the stage of professional help. So if we can spot the signs early and then get the right professional help if needed, as well as that, taking control himself. So understanding what exercise, the eating, what routine works for him, he said. So some really, really good points there on healing yourself. And it has obviously been a long journey. And understanding that, you know, you had a mood disorder, wasn't aware of it. So the professional help and the professionals are learning about all of this more and more. So since 2005, there's so much more knowledge out there for the professionals as well as for us. But the title, you may have noticed the title of this interview with Dylan, which is I'm Grateful I'm Still Here, which is fantastic. We're grateful you're still here as well. So, and I know Frank, who put me in touch with you, your mates are great as well, which is lovely. So shout out to Frank Drum. Thank you for putting us in touch. But can you just explain to everyone why you're grateful that you're still here?
Well, the latest one would be my son, Laurie. So he come 6 months ago. Yeah.
You're lovely.
So it's been, that's been, really good. I think, in the last while, I've actually started to find the confidence that I had as a late teen, early 20s fella. I was a pretty confident fella back then, and it's taken a long time, but it's starting to come back a bit. Like backing myself with decisions and that a lot more. And I don't know, I think realizing that the anxiety doesn't have to have a hold on my life. Like I can, now I suppose as time goes on, I learn to pick it up a lot earlier and do, pick up what I'm not doing right in the treatment of my anxiety. And it makes me very grateful to be still here, to be able to share with people, how they can help themselves, I suppose, and help their mates. That has been a big part of my life for the last 5 years. So that's been really good. And there's a lot of life to live. I'm very much looking forward to the next chapter with my son, and we're looking to buy a farm and sort of have the same childhood that I had. I hope I can give to him, and
because you've got a partner as well, which is fantastic. Settled.
And I am, and she's amazing, I suppose, in helping me as well. Like very accepting. There's not many partners that, if you don't go to work for a week or 2 weeks because you just can't face the world. There's a lot of people in the world that wouldn't understand that and want you to get up and just keep going. But she's very sympathetic to when I do need help and to helping me keep a good routine. And it's I'm very lucky. Yeah.
And it's a beautiful story, and she's very lucky, and your son's very lucky as well. And Katharine is very lucky because you have done something amazing for Katharine called 𝗵𝗆𝗆𝗀𝗆𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 story as well.
Yeah. So Mental Mates started. So there was my story, and I'm lucky to still be here, I suppose. But in our rugby club, we lost 2 fellas to suicide within 3 years, and I think it's coming up to the 5th anniversary of the first fella's death this year. That was the first one was a big enough shock. When we lost a second fellow, we were all racking our brains, I suppose, wondering what we could have done. Katharine's a very tight-knit community, and the rugby club, like, we're not a big... There's three teams that play each other in Katharine because it's too far to travel to play anywhere else. So each club's very tight-knit because you've only got the 15 blokes that run on the field pretty much. And we brainstormed and we thought, well, none of us really knew what to look for in other people. So we started Mental Mates, and we facilitate free mental health first aid training and safe talk training, so people can pick up the signs in their friends and family, hopefully early, and help get that person to professional help. Because that was the other part of it. Professional help can be so hard to get in the Northern Territory. I've worked places where the closest remote clinic has been 5 hours away. So a remote clinic is just a nurse. There's no doctor. There's a nurse there, and that's it. So so it can be, distance is a massive factor here. So
people in other parts of the world, they wouldn't quite understand the distance unless they had been to the Northern Territory.
That's Like, I drove home from a job 100 kilometres. I turned twice and I saw 3 cars. So to put it in perspective, I suppose. Yeah.
So that is a beautiful story. So I'm going to put the link for Katharine Mental Mates into the comments. And if anyone would like to donate, it's all about spotting those signs early, because I think just about every single interview I've done, it's all about early intervention, and that's what Benny and I keep coming back to. So thank you so much for your honesty. I want to give you a big hug, but firstly I can't because we're in lockdown, and secondly it's too far. But when I see big bear hugs coming, so thank you very much. Thank you for opening up and sharing your story. It's a very, very moving story. And next time, our next guest is continuing the topic of suicide stories. And she's actually from America, Denver, to be exact. And I'm going to read her name because I keep getting it wrong. It's 𝗤𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. 𝗤𝗵𝗆𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀. So we're looking forward to that. And thank you for your honesty, Dylan. You've been amazing. And take care.
Will do. Thank you very much for having me. And if you can't, if you do get a chance to look at Mental Mates, have a look, and I'll just encourage everyone out there to try and do some form of training, because it does save lives. So
thank you.